So I've been working on my game. I'm trying to figure out some ways to keep the player interested. So I came up with a couple ideas that hopefully will help you with your own game, just these general concepts. So one thing that I did is I added a collection log. And if you've played like old school RuneScape, the collection log is like impossible to fill, but I want the collection log in this game to actually have like a big purpose. And so basically, I also, since the UI is so simple, there's not that many things, just things in the game, period. Then I don't want to have like a bunch of different pop-ups and stuff for different menus. So I just have the collection log here to the side. Here's your inventory, here's your equips. And then this is a pop-up. It's going to have your equip details and stuff. So it shows your effects for each item, which I also will get into in a minute. Here I'm just gonna have like settings and stuff. I can't remember what kind of settings, but I'm gonna have settings here. But yeah, so here I have the collection log, and you can see I'm on floor 1, and I can't travel to floor 2 or 3 because I haven't been there yet. And you can also see that because I haven't been there and because I haven't met these monsters yet, I don't know what they are, I don't know what their weaknesses are, and I don't know what items are in their collection log. But because I have been to floor 1 and I have collected all the items from both Slime and Drill Rat, well, even just meeting them, I can see their weaknesses, I can see their picture. But then you start to fill in these slots and they starts to fill up green and you can see what items they have. So I think that's one thing. You add a mystery element to your game, right? So this is how you can put it into your game. You add a mystery element into your game. You add stuff so that the player can 100% it. Also, I've worked pretty hard on these animations and stuff for each monster. They all have different animations and they all have different death animations. So I want the player to experience all of those and be like, oh, that's actually cool. This one's interesting, blah, 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 blah. And also see their different items. And about items, for one thing, is that items right now for these are just like bronze, maybe there's going to be like some iron up here. Iron a bit stuff, but when they actually get to the first boss on floor 5 and they defeat it and they get a unique, which is going to be like a special item that has interesting effects, then that's when this stuff is actually going to come more into effect. So you're going to see effects, and these are going to make the gameplay experience more different. So this is Rogue Rhythm. Short introduction. It is a roguelike rhythm game. So if you want to understand how the effects work, that's basically how it is. It's a rhythm game, so I'm going to need to come up with some interesting things. Like I can get into a battle here if you haven't seen the game yet. And I'm gonna have to lose this battle because I'm working on the loot screen right now, and the game will break at the moment. But essentially, I'm just going to press the key that's highlighting here. And the next key that is going to, you see that's green, so it's double, but the next key that's going to come up is the light blue one. And then every monster has a different % chance for a dodge to come up. So you saw me hit dodge, which was spacebar there. And now I need to lose this battle. I almost forgot, so I can get back. All right. So I can go over some of my ideas for the items. So one thing that I was thinking was maybe that there's a weapon that lets you see 3 or 4 attacks in advance instead of just 2. And that way you can just like quickly hit those. But you need to like have your eyes peeled for like the different colors and do them all at the same time. Or I could make armor that lets you do more damage with less HP. That could be interesting for speedrun tactics. Or maybe for a boss that you're trying to skip a certain phase that happens with the boss when you get to a certain HP for that boss. And I want some items, like a single-use item that unhides the map. So that's the only really thing that I could think of. I really have no idea how I'm going to have items other than equips, because I mean, I don't know anything really about what I could do. Still trying to brainstorm. And then this is about the bosses. So I don't want the gameplay to be so repetitive, right? Like I want it to be pretty interesting. So one thing is the bosses. So I want the bosses to have I want all of the bosses to have different mechanics. Or maybe I want to combine the mechanics, or maybe I want to use some of those mechanics for the normal monsters that are higher level up. So the seeing 3 or 4 WSD attacks in advance could also be a boss mechanic. And another idea is to have multiple light gray sections. So I could have, like, instead of just one on beat 1, I could have one on a beat 2 and on beat 4. That could be pretty interesting. Instead of also just doing WASD, it could literally be a larger portion of the keyboard, or just the entire keyboard would be insane. I think that would have some like crazy reaction speed and stuff required for that. This might work better with this one. I'm not sure. I'd have to keep exploring that. This would take a minute to implement though. So I mean, that's really the only ideas I have right now at the moment, because I'm not really at that stage yet where I'm really trying to think about unique items and bosses. But yeah. And another thing is I'm trying to keep the gameplay interesting, even just for normal gameplay, right? I want the player to incorporate their own play style. So what I did, if you saw earlier, is each type of weapon has different mechanics. So any sword is going to have these effects. So it's going to be plus 10% to crit strength, plus 10% to strength versus monsters that are weak to melee, because we're doing melee. And actually, it might be plus 5%. I don't remember. And then plus strength to monsters that are slow. So if they're slow, then the sword, the full-size sword, will be good against monsters that are slow, while the dagger will be good against monsters that are faster. But the drawback is I have minus accuracy. And what minus accuracy is the light gray area that I have to hit the actual thing is going to be smaller. So each item is going to have each type of weapon is going to have their own types of effects. So this is where the weaknesses comes into play. And this is also where speedrun strats and knowing stuff like this will come in. Also knowing if you know what boss is going to come, and maybe you've lost to it before, because you don't know the weakness. You don't know the weakness until you play against it. Even if you lose against the boss, now you're going to have added information of, oh, and now I know what the weakness is, so now I can do a certain % more of damage, and maybe I'll have a better chance against it. So that's another way to keep your player unstuck and help them to move forward. So yeah, that's basically it. I think that a mystery mechanic, as well as a clear way to 100% the game, would be good. That's where you can do your Steam achievements, stuff like this, which I hopefully I'll be able to figure that stuff out. Oh, also, for the floors, because how I've done it here is I've let you be able to travel to floors that you've been to, which for now, since I'm on floor 1, it just regenerates it every single time. But then you'll be able to regenerate any floor that you've been to and travel there. And that way you can fill in those collection log slots that you need. But obviously, like in some games, it's like so tedious. If it's like an open world game or something, it's like so tedious to get to your location. But something like this, I mean, you just click the freaking button. It's pretty simple. And yeah, so add a mystery mechanic, add some sort of collection log, or filling up those slots so you can 100% your game, give that player the sense of accomplishment, give them those unique items that change the gameplay. And even when they're starting off, like in any RPG, I mean, I guess this really depends on your game, but like in most RPGs, they have like those different play styles. I mean, you could choose, I want to be a wizard, I want to be a priest, I want to do this, I want to do this. Well, you give them that sense of like, oh, I can choose what I actually want to do and how I want to play the game. Because maybe you really do just want to do as much damage as possible and have a lower accuracy. Or maybe you're not that good at rhythm games and you need something like, wait, what is it? The bow? Oh no, the bow does plus speed. Yeah, no, I think it's the spell book that you have bigger accuracy, and that gives you a better chance to compete. I'd recommend you research some other games, how they've done it, how they've kept people interested. And yeah, I hope this is helpful for you to incorporate into your own games. For my game, you can find my Discord in the description. I'm going to put the log, or there's a log in that Discord with all of my updates, which you can check out. And you can also play the game You can play the builds that I just keep putting out. We're not quite in alpha yet. I think we're almost about there. I'm trying to have a demo on Steam by July 1st, but you can still play it, and I'm putting everything in here, all my progress. If you want to ask me any questions about it, if you want to tell me about any features that you would like, anything like that, just let me know in there or in the comments. And yeah, I hope this is helpful to you.